Many people are calling AI the new gold rush, but mostly people who are chasing AI not getting rich. Today, James and I are going to uncover the ways that you can actually start to make money with AI and find out which of these ones best fits you. But first, and our favorite thing we love to do is we're going to call out the BS that is stopping you from being able to actually make money with AI. So, James, let's get into it. What do you call out as BS in how to make money with AI?
I think first and foremost, it's using AI for AI's sake. If you don't have a strategy, you don't have a data, you don't have the proper data, then you're just throwing shit at the wall,
Mm,
honestly. And when you do that, you're wasting time and you're wasting money. And this is definitely made worse by all of the influencers that are throwing around the latest, greatest, shiny AI object. It makes
mm,
you want to jump in and have a go and see how it would work. But it's like, okay, great example. You get these video avatars and they're amazing. But if you're not actually doing anything on socials, if you're not actually creating content, if you have a really good lead gen source that doesn't include having an AI avatar, then why
mm.
spend the time creating this AI avatar? It makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah, I get that. And later we'll cover off the ways around that to avoid going down that BS pitfall. Um, what other ways can you think of which are BS in making money with AI?
I think when people start, they try to be everything for every person.
Mm,
And look, you could argue that's where you need to start for the fact of you have to learn. You have to you have to understand who you're going to help and how you're going to help them. But when you start really, really broad, when your messaging is like, I'm an AI automations expert, I
mm,
help businesses. It's like, oof, you're gonna struggle to get clients. You are going to really struggle with service delivery. So on the client side, on the client acquisition side, if you don't speak to a particular persona, then when people see you, they're just going to scroll right past. Whereas,
yeah.
if you're an ex plumber that's used AI in your business and you go, I help plumbers leverage AI to take calls whilst they're on site. Wow. Okay. Any plumber that struggles answering calls because they're always working is going to look at that and go, wow, that's for me.
Yeah, like,
Um, it's that understanding of who you're helping and what their pain is that
mm,
will vastly propel you into the AI space, into a world where you can make real money. And then the other side of this is if you are trying to do 10 different things, you get 10 clients, and one of them's an instant reply bot. The other is some sort of CRM automation. The other one is operational efficiency or document processing, and so on. You are going to be struggling because you can't productize that. You're
mm,
doing something new every single time. And when you start,
mm.
you don't charge a lot because you want to get clients, right? So you'll probably be getting very little money in for a lot of hard work, and it's something that you can't recreate. Whereas if you go back to my example, it's voice AI, and it's voice AI for plumbers. It's not just learning to use one platform like Vapi, it's also having the prompts. So it's very, very similar for every single client that you deal with.
Yeah, that's true. Like hugely important. I think we call it the power of one, right? And that focus in
Yeah.
on one problem, one person makes things a lot clearer for the person that's coming across you and seeing you for the first time and seeing what you do. But also for yourself, like, being able to focus in on one thing gives you the opportunity to really like grow your skill set there and start to lead the pack, come up with new ways of doing it and improve it. But you can't really do that if you've got, your thing in, as you say, your finger in 10 different pies.
Yeah.
Just, it's not actually feasible. So, yeah, credit. Are there any other ways that you think you want to share BS pitfalls that we want to avoid?
Yeah, for sure. One more, really pertinent to what we do day to day. It's not leveraging your existing experience. The thing
Yep.
about AI is it's everywhere. You don't have to go, all right, I'm going to start something brand new. I'm going to get into AI for sales. You don't have
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
You can actually go and be like, right, well, I'm an accountant by trade. And in my world of accountancy, I used AI and spreadsheets. Just
Yeah.
go there, do that thing that you already know. You
Yeah.
don't have to recreate the wheel. AI is going to be everywhere in every form of life, not just business, consumers, everything, your home life with your kids. Just focus on what you already know and how you can apply AI to that rather than jumping off and trying to start three new things that you've got zero experience with.
100%. I get that. There's one other I think that comes to mind for me.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you and we've talked about it before, but it's uh you talked about having focus and clarity on who you're targeting
Yeah.
and what the problem you're solving. But it's also then, once you've nailed that down, it's really about doubling down and taking a lot of action to make that happen rather than kind of sitting here in that place of like, I'm thinking of all this great idea. I've got this great proposition and
Yeah.
like I'm working on my offer and la, 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 la. And I'm just going to stay still and I'm just going to keep thinking and iterating on these ideas rather than actually going out there and doing something because that's where you're going to really learn, make the difference. Yeah, it goes back to one of my favorite, um, like stories where the group of people got split into two. One group got set into a room and said, right, you've got an hour to make the perfect pot out of clay, and the other group went into the other room and said, right, you've got to make as many pots as possible. And in the end, the outcome is that the group that made the most and probably several imperfect failed pots actually came out not only making the most of them, but the best quality because they had gone through and practiced and made it and took that action. So yeah, that's one
Yeah.
I think is really important too.
Yeah, imperfect action always wins over analysis paralysis. I think
Yeah,
it's one of Elon Musk's favorite things in SpaceX when
yeah,
they are trying to build, spaceships during rocket science. They're taught to just go for something, come up with a hypothesis, put it into action, and they fail over and over again. But the point
yeah,
is that they fail quickly, and
yeah,
each time they learn. And
yeah,
it's exactly like the pot makers, the ones that are sitting there, desperately trying. They make a mistake, but they don't give up. They just keep trying to make that pot perfect. They're never going to get there.
yeah,
Whereas the ones that are spinning, done, they're going to get slightly better every single time.
yep,
Um, and I think it works. It's very pertinent to what we know from our community, Make Money with AI. Um, in there, we see so many people, and it's like, okay, where are you going? Where are you up to? It's like, well, I've been thinking about this idea for a month, and I'm gonna create a community in school, and I'm gonna do all of the recording. I'm gonna make sure all of my recordings are perfect. I want 3 different lessons. It's like, so when are you going to launch? Probably in a couple of months. And you speak to them every few weeks or even every month, and they're nowhere closer because those first courses that they decided to do, they've now scrapped them because AI moves that quickly that if
hmm
you waste your time trying to create a perfect course,
yeah.
then you'll be scrapping it every few weeks.
Yeah, and that feedback loop is so important. Like, what's in your head and what you think is not necessarily what I'll say the right thing to do, but it's what the best thing is in terms of like your customer. So that
Yeah,
feedback between you and them is vitally important to be able to really like make something that actually works for the majority. So yeah, I get that.
that probably rolls into maybe the biggest that we were going to miss, which is you've got to talk to your customers before you
Uh-huh.
sell, right? People analysis paralysis, they're doing all of this research, they're putting business plans together, market research. They're
Yeah,
not actually going and talking.
yeah,
The most successful entrepreneurs, like Dan Martell, for instance, he's all about selling before you even have a product. Just go
yeah,
out there, talk to your customer,
yeah,
understand what their problem is. When you see a correlation of this person's got the same problem as this person, just
yeah,
go and sell them something. If they take it, you're onto a winner.
yeah.
And if you're just starting out, you may not have the confidence to go sell something, high ticket. You may just say, "Hey, I can solve this problem. Can I do it for you for free in return for a testimonial?"
Mm, yeah,
And funnily
yeah, and
enough, that that's exactly how the Make Money with AI free course in our community is structured.
Hmm.
It's the AI does the quick market research, all of that thing that can take people hours and days. That
Yeah.
happens in 3 prompts. So within an hour, you have this obscenely good and large market report, and the AI telling you where you should go with relation to your
Yeah.
previous experience. And
Yeah.
then halfway through that course, it's all about actually just how can you um, go and talk to those clients? How can you reach out to them?
Yeah. It's hands down the best course so far in the community. It's incredibly valuable for those reasons that you mentioned, that it really, you working with AI that is trained to help you in this space, like how to come up with what is the right thing for you to do in terms of starting a business with AI. Um, it's pretty funny. And I did actually want to mention, because you talked about earlier that it is important to get, you know, focused in on one problem that you solve. And if you're not already in AI, but you are thinking about getting into this space, again, one of the courses that we have in the community, which I think is great, is the fundamentals course. It teaches you kind of the basics of what you are to know about AI. That's, it's relevant. And then taking that next step into the make money with AI is that logical kind of step. So you kind of
Yeah.
covered both, which I think is really helpful for the people out there, like, for example, like me, who are just like, I really want to do something in AI. I'm hearing a lot about it. I think this is where the future is, and I think this is where I'm going to invest my time. But I have never done anything with AI before, apart from like ChatGPT. So I think that's a great course to do as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the fundamentals course is not a not a traditional course in that I think somebody needs to go through it from start to finish. There's a lot in there. And for some people, there'll be modules that just aren't relevant. What's great
Yeah.
about it is it's kind of like the Make Money with AI, you've got to go through it all from start to finish because
Hmm.
it's designed in such a way that every result from the prompt that you put in and the action that you take then feeds into the next thing and the next thing. The
Hmm.
reason why it's so fast is because it's built on something that's taken me years to work out, thousands and thousands of dollars of coaching. Like, how do you go from an idea to market to generating money quickly? But the
Hmm.
fundamentals course, like, it's just kind of like, what is this thing? And why do I need to know? I'm going to go to the fundamentals course. I'm going to check it out and see what it's all about. And that way you can fill in the gaps, but it's
Mm.
not one of those things that you need to go from start to finish. In fact, I would say in our whole thesis of taking imperfect action, you just go and fill in the blanks, then you jump straight into that Make Money with AI course.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so I think we've done right. We've covered everything we want to cover off with the BS.
Oh, there's probably many other ways that
Probably.
people are falsely trying to make money with AI, but yeah, I think we can jump into the obvious 4 or 5 that will work.
Great. Take it away. Let's do it.
I'm going to start with existing businesses because I think again, we're talking about people trying to jump into AI, start something new. If you actually have a business that is working, you
Hmm.
can turn it into an AI powered business. You
Hmm.
don't have to quit what you're doing and suddenly jump into something new. For some people, they may want to change, and I completely understand that. And they may
Yep.
not even have a business. They may be in a 9 to 5, looking to get out of it. They may be unemployed or just coming out of university.
Yep.
Um, but for the entrepreneur out there, think about how you can use AI to amplify what you've already got. And that's
Yeah, great.
that's number one.
And I was going to ask a question on this because I feel like it's something that I've sometimes at the early stage had a question mark. Like when you say taking an existing business and making it an AI powered, what does that actually mean?
It means 2 things to me.
Yep.
Taking what you do really well and working out ways in which AI can amplify that. So, sales and marketing is the easiest one. Like every business does sales and marketing.
Hmm.
So, if you have a process that works manually, how can you deploy CRM automations to help nurture, to reply instantly? How can you use conversational AI to, talk to more leads quicker?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many stats around this, like
Okay.
78% of people go with the first business that replies.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
are 320% more likely to convert if you apply in the first minute. And there's so many of these studies done. It
Yeah.
just proves that if you are winning and you're doing everything manually, imagine what you could do with an AI powered automation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I hope I'm not derailing the conversation completely, but just a question I think that maybe someone listening to this would have is, with that in mind, and going out there and looking at what AI could, be integrated or used to support and amplify their business, what are the ways in which they can choose the best options and avoid the rubbish? Because there's a lot of choice out there, right?
I think if you do the grunt work into understanding what the real problem is,
Yeah.
what the real thing you need to solve, or the specific piece of a process that you want to amplify, the options are actually far fewer. The problem is that most people are thinking, I just need to deploy AI. And then it's like, right, well, you start with the biggest platforms, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. And it's like, well, these all do a huge amount of different things. It's like,
Yeah.
well, no, take a step back. What's your tech stack? What are you already using? Do they have AI solutions?
Yeah.
Most businesses are either Office 365 or Google Workspace. They both have inbuilt AI. You don't have to pay more for, and it's all integrated with what you've already
Mm-hmm.
got. You don't have
Yeah.
to go to even ChatGPT. You can you can use what you've already got, and then yeah, when you start to go, right, my problem is that let's say I can't afford a receptionist anymore for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm getting a load of calls. These calls are distracting me. Well, you're then looking at an AI voice solution. The amount of AI voice solutions that can do receptionist work is maybe three or four. 11 Labs, Vapi, Bland, and a few others. Then it's a question of, are you going to implement it yourself, or are you going to go to a professional like our agency Engine? In
Mm-hmm.
that case, you're going to find the best professional, and hopefully that professional has taken the advice that I talked about earlier and
Mm-hmm.
focused. You don't want to be, if you're into voice AI, you don't want to be using three or four platforms, because as they upgrade and as they change, you have to keep up with four completely different ways of working.
Mm-hmm.
You might want one redundancy. Yeah, I can take that, but you should specialize in one. And
Yeah.
then in that case, you're listening to the professional that you choose. I think the second way, so the first way was to amplify what you do well. The second way for a business is to overcome those manual blockers, those things that drain time, that are repetitive tasks that you don't need to be doing, especially as a
Mm-hmm.
founder. But
Mm-hmm.
bigger businesses, you'll look at all of your key members of staff and work out, right, okay, where is this wasted time and how can I use an AI automation to overcome it?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like, for me, if those people out there with the existing business are here listening to that, all of a sudden that feels that feels easier. It feels less daunting,
Yeah.
actually. It feels doable. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, like I think that's, if people out there do have an existing business, that is something, yeah, that's going to help them, support them in that transition.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's existing businesses, and then there are
New
new
business.
business launching.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
I think this is what most people are going to be interested in.
yeah.
Because I think you get a lot of like young entrepreneurs or solopreneurs,
Hmm.
and for many businesses, especially small businesses that haven't reached that critical mass, the writing is probably on the wall for them as AI
Hmm.
comes out. The likelihood of them being able to continue as they are is low.
Hmm.
So in this case, it's about starting something new.
Yeah.
But again, not to go against what I said earlier, you've still got to leverage your pre existing experience.
Yeah.
So if you want to be there are four, right? You're either going to do some form of education, e-learning, maybe a school community or potentially like corporate training, or you're going to do like coaching or consulting. And I'll go through the differences between the two of them. Full blown done for you agency, like what we do,
Hmm.
or you're going to launch some sort of AI product. They're like the four major categories.
Hmm.
But in all four of them, you have to leverage your pre-existing skill set. There is something that you've done, even if you're 18 years old, barely out of school, there is something that you are good at, something that you have done, or just very least a passion that you have that you
Yeah.
can apply to AI.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned passion because I think that's important in any when starting any new business or any venture. It's the
Hmm.
thing that if you enjoy it and love it, that's going to get you through the dark times because there will be struggle and dark times because it's not going to be a straightforward journey. But that is one of the most important things to really consider
Yeah,
when you're thinking about this. It's all very well you see people out there going, "Oh, I'm making loads of money doing this," and then but you have no interest in it, and actually like doing it day to day is going to be the most painful thing. And then
yeah,
all of a sudden you're just like, "I don't want to do this anymore," and then yeah,
yeah, 100%. I think that could have gone into into the first category of, why people fail at this because
yeah, that's
they
a
they
point.
jump into something that somebody else has told them to do that they have no passion for.
Yeah. Yes. Following the shiny
Mm,
followers. The shiny
yeah,
followers? Yeah, the followers, people who are the
the shiny
influencers.
objects and
The
the
shiny
influencers.
objects and the influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Kim.
All right, so you want to jump into each of the four?
Yeah, okay. So we've got, just for clarity for people listening, we've got two like main categories, right? That we're talking about. You got existing and new. And now we're delving into the new side of it and the four different ways that you can mm, launch a new AI company.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put them in the order that I think is easiest to start. So coaching and consulting, number one. Number two is agency.
Hmm.
Number three is education. And then number four is product.
So when you say you put them in order of easier to start, what do you
Mm.
mean by that?
Well, it will become obvious as we go through them, but essentially, you know, it's for an agency, for instance, the reason why you would start an agency after doing a bit of coaching consulting is coaching consulting is perfect for you as a one-man band. You're going to go in, you're going to talk to people, you're going to do that service for them, or you're going to coach them on how they can do that service.
Hmm.
It's a great way to get to learn how it all works. When you're in an agency, you're productizing those services.
Hmm.
You tend to need more than just yourself,
Yep.
and you've got to have a bit of business nous in order to get there. And then with the other two, with education, I mean, I know people do it, and I think it's absolute bullshit that they do. But you really shouldn't teach someone that you don't teach someone a subject that you don't truly understand, that you haven't lived an
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you
most,
mentioned those 18-year-olds, you mentioned those, and they might be thinking, well, I don't have that experience, right? I
yeah,
haven't been doing something in the business world for or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In that case, don't jump into education. Go fucking do it. Like, go speak to a few people. Go do it for free. Go learn what it is to
Yeah.
to work with AI. Like, just don't go and tell everyone that you're an AI expert when you're not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so let's start then officially with coaching consulting. What is it? How'd you get into it? What kind of money can you make with it?
Hmm.
This is definitely the best place to start.
Yep.
This is where you cut your teeth on what AI really is and how it is to deal with clients.
All right.
I would I would say in a way, coaching is probably easier than consulting. So the difference is with coaching, you're not doing it for them.
Yep.
You're mainly going in, you're doing strategy,
Hmm.
and potentially a little bit of training in there as well, but not full blown corporate training. Just enough to get them to use whatever it is that you want them to use.
Okay. And for clarity, when we're talking about coaching and consulting, are we talking about going and teaching others how to use AI or how to implement AI? Or are you still, like, for example, if you're, why can't I think of something right now? Okay, like uh, an accountant. God, why was it hard to think of a profession? An accountant, and oh, this is terrible. I'm going to cut this out.
Shut.
Yeah, bye. But
uh,
basically, the question is, are you talking about people going teaching others how to use AI, or are they still teaching their existing niche-based info, and there's an element of AI to that? Is there?
no, so the reason why I put coaching and consulting into the same bracket is
Yeah.
that they're all about implementation. How can you help a business implement AI?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Delete. Fucker it.
So with coaching consulting, you are essentially working out how your client, most likely a business, can
Mm-hmm.
implement AI. The
Okay.
difference between coaches and consultants, as I mentioned, like a coach is going to be more strategic,
Mm-hmm.
more done with you,
Mm-hmm.
helping that person implement it, helping that person hire the right person, helping that business find the right consultant.
Yeah.
Whereas a consultant does everything end to end. Um, they are they're going to go in, they're going to understand your processes, they're going to map it out, they're going to give you a strategy, and then they're going to implement it. So consultants kind of do everything. Now, I think as a coach, you don't have to be as skilled. You don't have to know how to use make.com, NA10. You can just have a basic layer of understanding. And if that's you and you're not techie, the coach route is the way to go. If, however, you're techie, I think being a consultant is great. Most of the people I talk to are techie. They actually don't want to do the strategy stuff as much as they just want to get on the tools. So it kind of goes down to who you are as a person. But either way, coaches and consultants, that's the best place to start. Pricing wise, I think you'd be looking at anything from $100 per hour upwards.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mostly with coaches, they typically have some ongoing service. So coaches usually have more clients than consultants because let's assume that they're both one man bands in
Yeah.
this case.
Yeah.
A consultant has a lot more work to do, and is probably going to price it either on hourly or as some sort of fixed price quote.
Outcome based.
Um,
Yeah.
a coach is going to be meeting, like any type of coach, a business coach, a life coach. They're going to be meeting with the business founder or key executive every week. Each time they're going to have an agenda. They're going to give the client resources, and they're going to guide them towards that end goal.
When you're talking about coaching and consulting, for me, again, it's like you focused in on one problem, one person to solve that problem, right? One persona that you're aiming
Yeah,
for. So if you don't have a lot of AI experience in a particular area, by doing that, again, it's increasing your chances of accelerating your learning because you're focusing on one thing and you get really good at that really quickly, actually. And if you think
yeah,
about people out there who are not doing that, which is the majority, or they've gone to choose something different,
yeah,
again, it helps you really position to be that kind of future leader, which is what you want to be in a couple of years or even sooner. Like, that's
100%.
where you want to be when most people wake up and go, "Ooh, we're going to do something with AI now." So, yeah, that
Yeah,
again for me, because sometimes these things can seem really big and daunting, and you think, oh, the fear factor of like imposter syndrome, like I can't do coaching and I can't do consulting. I'm not there yet. It helps. I think it just helps kind of ground it a little bit and make it just more attainable if you look at it like that. And if you do it like that, it is going
yeah.
to work for you.
I think if you see your required experience or your required knowledge as a bucket, right?
Yeah.
Some of that bucket is AI knowledge. Other parts of that bucket is industry knowledge. So
Yeah.
you can fill it up in both of those ways. So if you're completely new to AI, but you've been a business consultant for and you've been
Sorry.
a business consultant for like 10 years, do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like talking about how AI relates to the business consulting
Yeah.
is going to be super powerful.
So you mentioned the bucket, and there's AI, and then there's your industry knowledge. And also,
Mm.
I think what I would add to that is ability to work with people, your understanding of communication, but relationship building is also really important. So I would add that as a third element to your bucket. And if you're good at doing that, if you're good at, communicating with people, asking the right questions, finding out where the real pain points are, and really understanding that person or that business, then again, it's like the AI element, I'm not saying it shrinks even further, but the element is just kind of like the little icing on the
Yeah.
cupcake, right? It's not the bucket, the majority of, well, it's not the cupcake itself. Stick with the analogy, Tanya.
Are you hungry?
Yeah, can you tell? We made cupcakes the other day. That's why I'm like, cupcakes.
I
Yeah.
would say you can get away with being slightly less personable as a consultant, especially one where
Hmm.
your job is to just be a mercenary, just to get in there and do it and to
Right.
implement
Okay.
it.
Yes.
I
Hide
think a
behind the
coach,
tech.
yeah, I just don't want to scare people off because even if you're not really a people person, you're a techie person, you can still get into consulting.
Yep.
Probably coaching isn't so much for you because coaching has so much about psychology,
Mm,
rapport building. You essentially need to influence people to do the thing that you've learned and that you believe to be the right way. And I
yeah.
don't think it's a bad type of influencing. If you truly believe that your way is the right way and it's going to help that person, then not influencing, not being a master influencer is a detriment to them, to your prospective clients.
Yeah. 100%. Hmm.
All right. So the next one is agency. Uh, Now there are two ways you can get into agency.
Hmm.
You could already have an agency, like a marketing agency, a development agency, then jump straight in, skip the coaching consultant, just consulting, just migrate your agency over. So that's actually what we did. So I partnered up with someone that had a web agency and we started migrating some of the staff over, teaching them AI. And slowly but surely, we got less of that work and more of this work until now they're like 95% AI and 5% web.
That's great because it kind of de-risks, yeah, the process a little bit.
Yeah. And I think a marketing agency is naturally going
Mm,
to move into AI. They're going to become vibe marketing agencies.
yeah.
Like things like SEO are going to become SEO and GEO.
Mm,
It's just natural.
yeah. A number of our community members are agencies just like that, as you say,
Yeah,
that migrated over.
yeah. And then if you're going to get started, I think if you don't have an agency, don't have any past experience, it's a natural run in to become an agency once you've mastered coaching or consulting.
Yeah.
And there's a nice intermediary spot. So as a coach in particular, what you could do is do all of the strategy and work with, somebody like us to do the implementation.
Hmm.
Get a load of clients like that, build up your book, build up your recurring revenue until you're at a point where you can actually afford to hire in-house. And then suddenly you transition from being just a coach
Yeah.
into being an agency where you're that front-facing person that does the coaching and
Yeah.
you've got a team that does the implementation.
Great. Because I was going to ask, by I'm not sure by definition, but by nature, an agency is more than just you, right? There's others.
Yeah, I mean, there's some one-man band agencies. I don't think it fits the bill. I think you have to have
Mm.
a team at that
If you
point.
want to scale and grow, yeah.
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 You could argue you have a team of AI agents. I don't think we're quite there yet, but
Yeah. Okay.
sooner or later, there will be agencies that are like one-man bands run by agents.
Well, that's what
AI.
AI orchestrator is, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
The future.
It is the future. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Um, Pricing wise, I think once you get to the agency level, you start looking much more at value based pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this again is part strategy. Part of the strategy here is understanding your ICP. What's their pain? Choosing, a target that has money to spend, and and choosing to fix a problem that
Yeah.
actually relates to a good return on investment for the client. That
Yes.
way, you're not pigeonholed into an hourly basis, like this task is going to take 10 hours. I'm going to put a margin of 100% on. And it's no, well, I'm going to actually save this client thousands of dollars per month. So I
Mm.
can definitely charge, some proportion of that.
100%. Yep. Way to make more money is to solve bigger problems.
Yeah. Then the final thing I'll say about agency, it's all about productizing. Pick one. This is my strategy. So I have one entry point offer.
Yep.
And this is our instant reply bots, designed specifically for businesses running ads.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Goes along with all of the stats that I mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
That is reasonably cheap. Sell that for something like $1,000 per month, depending on how many platforms they have, how many, what's their lead flow. Like
Works.
it's not set. It's not time based. It's value based. So if they're on 4 or 5 different platforms, they're doing different types of ads, and they're getting X amount of leads, it's going to be a higher price than if they're just starting out with ads.
So like the volume base as
Yeah.
well. Yep.
And then we have our core service, which includes that, but it has a lot of other things. We do a manual sales playbook strategy session. We implement that strategy into their CRM, or we
Mm-hmm.
resell our CRM. Then they get conversational AI. They get various AI agents that relate to sales and marketing.
Yep.
And that's kind of like everything. And you're not often going to get somebody that's just like, I want everything, but every now and then you do.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then, just to go along with Hormozi's money models, I would have one super high ticket. It's essentially your anchor. This is like, you would only sell this once in a blue moon, but it would be an unrealistic amount of money.
Mm.
But of course, it's not just about putting a price tag on it. You actually have to deliver, and it has to be of exceptionally high value.
Mm.
And so for us, that is a full AI transformation service. Goes a little bit beyond our focus point, which is the sales side, but it always starts with the sales side. But it is essentially a ongoing retainer
Yep.
of $15,000 per month plus, depending on the size of the company, where we do everything.
Yep.
We get all of their sales, all of their marketing, all of their CRM, all of their systems. We do corporate training. We train the founder to become the orchestrator within their business.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, it's never going to be forever, because there is a stopping point. But our final service is all about preparing them to bring in an AI specialist. By the time they've worked
Yeah.
with us for 6 months, they're already, massively beyond where they were when they started. Huge scaling process. So at that point, they have the funds to hire in house.
So where are we at now? We've gone coaching, consulting, agency, and
Yep.
now we're moving on to the next one.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, number 3.
Next one we'll do is education.
Okay.
So this just requires lived experience. If you've lived it, you don't have to have done 10 years in AI. You just need to have done more than the people that you're teaching. You just need to be a few runs ahead of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to have mastered something, some sort of process, some sort of formula, and then you're going to sell it.
So
Um,
this is a one-to-many type
yes,
model. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Digital product, one to many, can involve a community. In fact, I think
Yep.
the best way to do it is to do like we do. Start with a free community, add free value, build up your base. That becomes your feedback mechanism. That's where you can
Mm.
go and ask them, what do they need? What are they looking for? They go through your course, or this is what's missing. That's how you design your premium product, like our AI orchestrator program.
Yes. Yeah, it comes from them. Mm.
Yeah. But you could do it just as a more traditional e-learning course, digital product that's just a one-off purchase. You could do it as a low ticket. Although I would say low tickets are better designed for people that have a pre-existing audience.
Mm-hmm.
because it's hard. It's hard. It costs money to get people into a community. And if they're only
Yeah.
charging like $40, $50 per month, the cost of acquisition is usually quite a lot higher than that. So you can be
Yeah.
running at a loss for a while.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yep.
So education is pretty cut and dry, but the reason why it's
Mm.
number 3 on the list is because you actually have to have some amount of lived experience.
Yeah, and the community takes work as well. Like it's ongoing daily, as we know, and it's a commitment that you want to take, but
Yeah,
hugely rewarding, as well. And this point comes to mind as well. Like we've talked about followers, or sorry, influencers that have these huge following, but
yeah,
actually that translates very little when it comes to like revenue or income.
yeah,
So, and the reason why that is because of that connection that that individual has with all the people that are in their community or following. So it's a commitment, to really take that community. And if you want it to be a revenue generating community, yeah, you're going to want to really put that time and energy into it, getting to know them and giving that value before you expect anything in return.
yeah. I think either way, all of these are businesses. Like you can't think that the education is not a business. You can't think that the community is not a business. You can
Yep.
start things off as a side gig, but it has all of the aspects of business. You need to get leads in. That means you need to run marketing. You need to have some sort of onboarding. You need to have some sort
Yep.
of customer success. You need to have some sort of engagement. Those things are within every type of business, not just a
Yeah.
community.
Yep.
Probably the big reason why people fail in the world of communities, they just expect they see these amazing ads of Hormozy talking about all of the big wins on school. They don't realize that those educators, those school community owners, they did it for months and months and months, tweaking and learning and talking to the customers before they became successful. Only a tiny
Mm,
percentage get it on their first try. Tiny
mm,
percentage. Most
mm.
people give up before they've given it a fair go. All right, on to
Okay.
the last.
Last but not least, of
Lucky
course.
last. And
Yeah.
this is the one that I have most experience in because this is product. So, I mean, I've been helping people launch products for nearly 10 years. Before then, I launched my own fintech, which I sold for $1 million. This is not easy. um, most people build what they think people want. Now, we
Yeah.
talked about this in general, but when it comes to the world of product, it's on steroids. If you haven't got a really clear understanding what the need is, no one will sign up for your product.
Yep.
And
Also feels the most risky to me,
it is, yeah.
specifically in AI. Like how the pace of everything and keeping up and making it relevant, keeping it relevant
Yeah.
if you
I
get it
mean,
right. Mm.
typically the best way into product is to do one of the things that we've talked about already
Yep.
and then build something that actually helps you deliver that product.
Okay.
Right. And then once you've nailed it and it's actually helping you saving you time,
Yep.
then you can start and turn it into some sort of AI SaaS and push it out to people en masses and do it for a subscription. So essentially, you could be replacing your agency or replacing your consultancy with an AI product.
Yep.
But
Okay.
they're the steps you have to go to. When you decide, all right, I'm going to start building a product, and you start coming up with all of these ideas, and you don't really test it, you don't really talk to people, and you spend back in the day, you could be spending 50 to 100,000. These days, with AI vibe coding, it's less, but it's still
Mm.
time and effort. Um, you've got such a high likelihood of failing because just like everything else, there's a trend here, right? That lived experience, doing the hard thing first, the manual thing, the unscalable thing first, and then working out how to scale it. You start with coaching. It's very unscalable. You're dealing with, or consulting even more so, dealing with one-on-one clients. Then
Mm.
you productize it into an agency. Then you might educate people one to many. Then you might turn all of that into a product and sell it en masse. It's the biggest risk, but the highest upside by a distance. But there are so many sides to product because generally with the other businesses, particularly coaching, consulting, and agency, it's a sales-led approach. So you're not
Uh-huh.
looking for a huge pool of leads. Community starts to get that way. You can still do sales-led, especially if you've got a high-ticket program, but you're starting to want to get people in en masse. When it comes to SaaS, you're actually going for a more product-led approach. You don't
Okay.
have the money typically, you're not charging enough to have a fully fledged sales team. Instead, it's the product itself that does the selling. It's concepts like having a freemium product where you have part free, part premium. And the free part takes you on a little bit of the journey, and then the premium takes you to the finish line.
Yeah, okay.
And so you're getting that quick win. You have
Mm,
to, the free part has to give a quick win, or else you've
mhm.
failed completely.
Yeah,
Like if
okay.
you think I'm just going to give this crappy free tool and then try and get people to upsell, if the crappy free tool doesn't actually do anything for them,
Yep.
then you're failing.
Okay. So I know you've talked about like the linking between them, the
Yeah.
journey you can go from this into this and then expand into that and then wrap that all up and sell that.
Yep.
I'm curious because it's coming up in the greater discussion out there while people are thinking about what is like if people are thinking, all right, I want to pivot or I want to start something new and I want it to be one of these four things, but I want long term, right? I want long term financial security, right?
Yeah.
Um, I guess the question is like, which of those things are going to deliver that, if any, and or how and how?
All of them can deliver it. Like
Okay.
I know coaches and consultants that have done it for 10, 15 years. That's what they like to do. But
Yeah.
if you're talking about breaching, multi-million dollar companies,
Yeah.
um, you're likely to have to do one of the larger scale, either education or
Mm-hmm.
product.
Okay.
But you don't start there. It's just, you know, they all lead into each other. Like, you hear from Hormozy and other entrepreneurs, it can take 10 years to become successful. Now, things in AI are a little bit on the fast track, so
Mm-hmm.
times can be cut down for sure, and people can get lucky, right? This is the window of opportunity. If you're not taking action now,
Yeah.
right now, like actually taking action, not just listening to this podcast, jumping into our community. You actually have to go talk to people, you actually have to create your product. If you're doing that now,
Yeah.
likelihood is you'll be successful in a year or two rather than the 10 average that it takes.
Yeah.
But it's still that progression. If you want to get to a multi-million dollar business, even
Mm.
towards $1 billion business, you have to go through the steps, learn what the problems are, solve them unscalably, then start to solve them scalably. So I would go always coaching, consulting into agency, build a
Mm-hmm.
productized service, then build software within that agency.
Mm-hmm.
And then either from the agency, you're going to branch out into education or you're going to
Yeah.
branch out into product or you're going to do them both.
Yeah.
By
Okay.
that point, you should be successful enough to be able to split your time because you'll have the right team around you. Somebody to run the agency whilst you work in the education side, someone to run the product whilst you're being the face. And I think all roads for a founder these days lead to coming out of general operations and into sales and marketing. That's
Mm.
that's as we've hired more and more staff, that's essentially where I've gone. I've left my product world behind, and now 75% of my day is either sales or being the front facing person on social media.
Yeah. So important, isn't it? You can't seem there just doesn't seem to be the option to escape that creating that um social presence,
Yeah.
So okay. Wow, that's a lot. Like it's been broken down. Is there anything else that you think's really important to like touch upon as, someone listening in thinking, okay, like, I want to start my AI journey and I want to make money out of it. Is there anything that we've not covered off?
I think if somebody's still around right now, my advice to you is go take action and
Make money with
the,
AI program. Do the
yeah,
course.
do the course, follow the
Yeah.
breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
follow the people that have done it before, not the people that tell you this is how you do it, the
Yeah.
people that have literally done it and they give examples of how they did it.
Yeah.
There's a
Absolutely.
massive course creator on school, Nick. He does the makers community. And
Yeah.
everything that he teaches is literally just what was happening a few months ago with his agency. His agency is a huge moneymaker, and people followed him. Like, people wanted to understand. And it's not just him.
Yeah.
So many other of the best influencers have done that. Hormozy is the best example. Talk about him all the time.
Yeah.
He's lived it. He has literally lived it for 10 years, multiple businesses, failures, ups and downs. Now he teaches it so that you can skip the things
Mm.
that he did wrong and jump on to the things that he did right. So that's all that somebody listening at this point of the podcast needs to know. Just do it, imperfect action, and follow the breadcrumbs.
100%. Join the community, start talking. Yeah, and reach out to us if you have any questions about it as well. Like, we're
Yeah,
here to help. That's kind
100%.
of why we're here. That's what we want to do, right? That's the purpose of this. So fantastic. All right, well, let's wrap it up there, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.